Today, we're going to go through the process of implementing the 1.81 hotfix to Survival Game Kit. Now, you need to make sure that you are on the 1.8 version currently before you apply this. If you're not, maybe you're on a 1.7 something, or maybe you're even on 1.82 or something else. You need to not be doing this video if that's the case. Also, this video is for just a basic Survival Game Kit install. I have separate videos for the Survival Game Kit and Advanced Locomotion System merged versions. So if you're with the merged versions, you've followed one of my tutorials before and you're using ALS with SGK, go find one of those videos in the playlist instead, because I'll cover particular things that are unique about that type of an install versus this one, which is more of a video guide to implementing the patch notes from Diffuse Studios. So if you're on, when you're in the level, you'll see here some text in one side that has the version number there. Anytime you do an update, make sure you update that, because that will help you, even if it's a while later, remember exactly what version you're on. So make sure you're on Survival Game Kit 1.8. You may have some other merges or something you've done. This can be kind of a guide. If you run into anything that's a little bit different, you may need to ask for assistance or kind of troubleshoot to get it to that point. If you'd like to follow along, make sure you go to diffusestudios.com. On there, there's a set of patch notes in here for this particular update. It's not a big update, but there is one that requires a file download to replace some files. So you will need to, I'll have it in the description here as well, but if you want to follow along, and you could also download it from that source, which is available. So let's go ahead and get started. There's just 3 fixes in this one. The first one is fixing an issue where the grids were not saving correctly. Where we'll need to be is at the main screen. You'll see on the left-hand side, select Survival Game Kit. And then in the filters, let's search for Master Grid. You'll see BP Master Grid. Let's go ahead and open that up. And in here, we'll be in the main event graph. So in here, look for text that says client loads grids from the server, which you'll see is the bottom of the red section there. And we need to put an is valid right between the custom event and the first branch. So what I'll do first is just give myself a little extra room to put that is valid in there. I'll select everything to the right of the event, move it over, and then drag off from the pin and type is valid. And choose the one with the question mark, not the custom macro. On here, what we want to check is valid is the player controller valid. So go ahead and drag from player controller to the input object. If you'd like, you can double click and reroute that line, so it kind of goes out of the way. One thing I like to do is rerouting these is just so you can easily follow the logic and you don't see things disappearing behind each other. So this will now check if it's not valid. If there's no valid player controller, it won't continue forward and try to load those grids from the server. Now we need to go to the inventory save system. So let's go ahead and compile and save this really quick. I like to get in that habit just because sometimes if you move on to another blueprint, you'll actually get an error because it doesn't realize it's there. So at the main showcase, let's go ahead and search for inventory save. And you'll see inventory save system there. Open that up. And we need to be in a particular set of, I'm already here, but I'll show you how to get there. Start auto save timer. So on the left-hand side below my blueprint, you can do a filter search there. And you should find start auto save timer, double click it. It will take you to this screen. In here, we need to find where it's loading the save, the grid save. So this is load save, but there's a load grid save over here. And you'll notice that there is switch has authority. Now this one I think is applied twice because it was in a previous patch. And it needs to be, just make sure it's here because for some reason he's done this twice. It says switch has authority, he has it twice in here. And so I think what you want to do is just remove this one and put it here instead because it should be in front. It's kind of pointless to move forward to this point and you're doing it again. So it's just an extra thing that's being run. Let's go ahead and delete that second one. And then we can move this grid load save or load grid save forward and put this in line. So it should end up looking like this. Really, it's just removing some duplicate code. It would have worked exactly the same before, so that's not a huge problem. Now, inside of this inventory save system, we need to go to the Save Master Grid. On the left-hand side, you'll do a search, Save Master. You'll see Save Master Grids. Double-click that. And what we need to do is there's the Add Array nodes that are listed here. There's a list of them. There's a whole, all the way up and down on the right-hand side. You'll see a bunch of them there. What we need to do is add unique because we don't want to want to adding. We want to add only if there's not another one there. So what we're going to do is replace this add with a different one. What you could do is just delete this. And then from this grid saves, let's drag off and do add unique. You'll see there's one option there. Select that. And then let's start connecting some of these things. You'll notice that this is looking for an item. But what we want to have is a different set of options here. So what you can do is right click on it and split that struct pin. And you'll notice now it has inputs for each of these options. The box extent, we have the grid transform, and then for the drop down, we want to choose foundation. Now, you need to keep in mind, so look at these original ones. This one's pillar, wall, ceiling, stairs. Got one for each type that we'll be replacing. So you need to make sure you remember which one is which, and don't put the wrong one there. So we have now the add unique foundation. What you could do is Control C and Control V that, and it'll just save you a couple steps. You need to make sure before you do anything, make that match. So these are pillar and pillar, and then I will just connect these up. Delete this one and put it in its place. So we'll just keep doing that. This one will be wall. Oops. You could do a control click and drag as well. All right. And then ceiling. And that main thing I'm concerned with is that I always match that grid type, because that will make things not work correctly if you switch them. So before you do each one, make sure that matches up and it looks correct, and we should be fine. Two more. So one's door. And then window. All right, so those are all replaced at that point, and that should fix the issue with those grid savings not saving incorrectly, or they're not saving correctly. So go ahead and compile and save that. And now we're going to stay in the inventory save, or actually we're going to go to the player inventory component. This is the inventory save system. Let's go ahead and close those, close the master grid, and then let's do a search for inventory, player inventory component. Open that component up. We're going to be adding an is valid at some point. So what we need to do is in here in the event graph, we need to find where it says client select slot. What you could do is you could search, but let's just go on the left-hand side under the search there and do client select slot. Double click that. That'll take you right to the point you want to be. And we're just adding an is valid between the custom event and this branch. We want to make sure that it is valid before it continues and does the rest of this code. So drag off of here the out pin and then put is valid. Do the one with the question mark. And then what you're checking is the inventory HUD. So what you could do is just select that inventory HUD to the right, Control C and then Control V it, and then drag that to the input. You're making sure that there is a valid inventory HUD, because if there isn't, it actually would run into an issue here because this would be an invalid action at that point. I'm going to clean up these lines a little bit. Okay. Just so it's easy to see all this. All right, so that should work. We're doing the is valid, basing it on the inventory HUD. And that's it for that point. Now, here comes to where I was speaking about needing to download some files. Go ahead and have that compile and save. But what we'll need to do is there's a Dropbox link. And from either the patch notes or you can go to the description below. This third patch, you'll see that it's asking you to go to a Dropbox address, or, I'll put this exact same link down below as I said. And then we're going to be replacing some files that are, because there's so many changes or something that it just would be too many steps to do. And so this is a easier and faster way to have it done. So go ahead and save the player inventory component. And we're going to browse in the showcase area to the proper location. And then we're going to open up that using the file browser. So where you need to go is Survival Game Kit, and then go to Content, Survival Game Kit. Now this is if you're browsing, that will get you here. So the content folder, Survival Game Kit, and then Blueprints, and then HUD. So clear any filters you might have. Now we need to open up and put something in this section. And let's take a look at what files are going to be changed here. So there's the crafting tooltip and the required actor file. You open up the zip, it will look something like this, just have the two files in it. I then drag them out and put them in a folder so that I can bring them into the proper folder. So I'm going to have that sitting over here, these two files. I'm going to right click on the HUD folder on the left. And then what I want to do is I want to show and explore. And you can see this shows all of those UAsset files. So this is the actual Unreal files that you see. I need to drag and replace. Now, if you've customized these files in any way, you may want to make backups of them. If you don't think you've changed them in any way, that should be fine. This one is a fairly clean install. But you may want to look and see if you have customized your tooltip or edited that required actor file, then that may change something that you want. So be careful of that, make a backup. But I'm going to drag these over and replace them. Okay, so now let's go ahead and open those up, make sure they're valid. So we have required actor and crafting tooltip. I'll just open up the crafting tooltip so that we can see that. There we go. And that looks correct. So no errors. Copy the file over correctly. It compiles. So that completes the 1.81. The final thing that we'll want to do is we want to go into the main level here. And we want to change this version number because we want it to match for later when we come back to this. We want to make sure that this reminds us which version we're doing. So select that text where it says version 1.8 and put version 1.8.1. So now I know that my current version for this project is 1.8.1. And when I come back and open this, in a couple of weeks, I will actually remember what version I'm on and not do things twice. So hopefully that helps you out. If you're interested in seeing more of these, make sure you like and subscribe to this video. Hit the bell down below. Also, if you want to communicate and hang out and maybe help someone else with something with game development and Unreal Engine, you can come and join us in my Discord server. We have a great community there. It's growing every day. Make sure you use the link in the description below, and it'll get you in there and introduce yourself. Say hi to everybody. Also, if you want to help support the future videos, helping me get various assets and things that maybe I don't own, you can use the Patreon, and there's a link below for that. And just make sure if you have a question or you want to make a comment, put it below in the video. It's below the video here. And if you have a question, though, that you think will be a specific answer, the Discord is the best way to do that, because I can't really give a descriptive answer here on YouTube. But if you come and join us in Discord, we have a lot of various people or myself that can answer those questions. So thank you very much. And hopefully this helps you to get this completed. And I will see you guys next time.